the decision to join me and my special guest tonight. Before we start the live, please just take a listen. If I had told you at the beginning of this year that we would have been facing a pandemic by the name of COVID-19 that was going to turn this world upside down, you would have never believed it. The COVID Conquerors series on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. In this climate of fear, confusion, and suppression, I saw the need to create the COVID Conquerors podcast series. COVID Conquerors features phenomenal people who are, despite their challenges, thriving personally or in service to their community. COVID Conquerors airs live on Facebook and YouTube every other Thursday at 9 p.m. GMT, that's UK time, on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. This podcast aims to encourage, inspire, and empower you, to reassure you that in this time of uncertainty, should you look, you will see that there are great opportunities for you to thrive in aspects of your life, regardless to whom or what. It's time to start the live podcast where you'll meet this week's phenomenal guest. Let the countdown begin. Decided to join me. I hope you're comfortable and that you have your favorite drink with you and that you're relaxed, because we're going to have a nice time. I am here with a phenomenal woman, one of my sister's sister, Clarion Phillpotts, all the way from Jamaica. Before I go any further, what I would like you to do is to share this stream. Share it in groups on your page so that it can spread far and wide. This is the last episode of COVID Conquerors for 2020, and hasn't it been a heck of a ride in 2020? I'll be back, God willing, next year. She's the managing director of a new Jamaica of Peace Foundation, which she co-founded with her daughter in 2015. A new Jamaica of Peace was started with, guess how much? It was started with $20. Foundation, okay? Serving children in the community of Trenchtown, where Sister Clarion was born and raised. She first started to deliver meals to children and the elderly, but Sister Clarion recognized the need to build peace in the community and the wider Jamaican society based on a long-term vision. In 2016, a new Jamaican Peace initiated an after-school program at the community's primary school. Now, teaching mathematics, music, foreign languages, and read to students aged 5 to 12 years. She also has older children that she works with who are included in the foundation's field trip program, which serves to expand children's social awareness and impact overall development. Our children are in need of first-hand experiences to build a sense that they have the ability to create a life for themselves outside. So this is a bit about our sister, and she's going to tell us much more about herself and her work. Mr. Leading Man gets the first question. Once again, share the broadcast and thank you for joining us. What, Sister Clarion, before I even go on, let me just ask my sister, how are you?
Greetings, Sister Aisha. I am well. I'm excited to be on your program. It's a blessing.
Can you hear
For
me
those of you who don't
clearly?
know, I can, wow, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but the connection is a little bit iffy. It seems to be going in and out, but just keep on going.
Okay. I am very excited to be on the program today. I've been watching your work and you have been just developing so beautifully. I have met you, for those who don't know, I just want to let them know I met you back in 2014 here in Kingston. So I've experienced real sisterly love from you and so many other sisters in the UK, Sister Maxine, Sister Mavis. I have to big up my sisters because they have been a part of the program really and truly. You know, you just have to let people know that you so appreciate what we are doing as a community and as women, and I've experienced so much sisterly love and women power, and
Mhm.
it has really helped in my personal development.
Excellent. Thank you. Let us know what the sound's like. If there's any improvement in sound, that would really be helpful. Thank you. If you can hear us clearly, if you could just maybe just put one in the comments, that would help. Sister Clarion, it's a pleasure to have you. So I wanted to know, what was it that you witnessed that compelled you to start the foundation in 2015?
Wow, well, you know, Jamaica, we have one of the highest murder rates per capita in the world. We have high unemployment. So, as a Jamaican, you know, you walk on the street, you see our people in need. You see people just lying on the street in need of food. You may know of so many people who are being deported back to Jamaica from the UK, from the United States, for example. And many of these persons, they end up living on the street. You know, sometimes someone comes
Yeah.
and they approaches you for help and they have an accent and you know, oh, this person spent time overseas, you know. So I just decided, listen, I have to do something. There isn't much I can do. I'm a single mother, I'm not working, I don't have a 9 to 5, but listen, I can do something still, you know. Bible speaks of that woman who went into the temple and she was only able to give 1 coin, but Jesus said that 1 coin was a whole lot compared to what other people who were far wealthier than her was doing in the community. So I just took, like I said, I just took $20 out of my personal, you know, what I had at the time. And I went and I bought 10 pounds of chicken breast and I cut it up real small because I wanted it to stretch. And that first day I went out with my daughter, and you know, children are so beautiful. And when we bring children into service to others, it surprises you because they want to help. You know, sometimes we think children just want to stay home and sit on the laptop all day, but no, they want to help and they want to be of service and get involved in positivity. And so I just went out with my daughter and we were able to bless over 20 people with, you know, the meals we had prepared. And I did it again. I loved it. And I did it again for August 6th, which is our Independence Day. And then I did it again. And people just started to support it. You know, I received my first donation from overseas from Sister Maxine and Sister Mavis. Greetings, sis, which she's watching right now. She sends me money every now and then. She says, "Sis, I'm sending you something for the children." And yeah, I've just been growing. And I went into the community and I realized, hey, the levels of violence. When I hear the stories of people who I grew up with being killed violently for no reason, oh, you don't want somebody to walk on this side of the community, so you kill them, that kind of thing. And I said, no, I have to do something. I can't just let it continue and just, not get involved, just stand by and watch my community where I can go to. Yes, it's a violent community, things do happen there. It's an inner city community, a part of Trenchtown, which is the largest inner city area in Kingston. So a lot of the murders and that you hear about taking place in Jamaica does happen in Trenchtown. But guess what? I can go in there and I'm happy to go in at any time and I'm welcome and I feel safe. So many Jamaicans who do help. I ask the business people here for donations, and sometimes we talk and they say, I would never go there, you know. And I say, you could come, when we have a fun day and we set up the bounce about and we set up the ice cream machine and that kind of thing. I say to them, you could come. But, understandably, people don't want to come. But we're going to keep working. We're going to continue to build peace in the community. We have started with the children and we are not giving up,
Yes.
right? I started reading with them at the primary school and I realized they're not reading as well as they should be. And so I said, okay, why are they so, all over the place, not reading well? I said, they need music. And so in 2016, I got instruments. I was blessed. And we got some keyboards and some guitars, and we started music. And it opened up another world that I didn't know existed. Because right there in the community, 3 minutes from the school, was living students from Germany who are from Musicians Without Borders. And so somebody told me about them, and I said, wow. And I went to them and I said, would you be willing to come and work with the children in the school? And they said, sure. And they bring keyboards and they bring guitar and they just come and work with the children. So, it's just been a blessing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we can see your works there. That's just fantastic. Bringing a smile to their faces. That's awesome. Wow. Okay, so um that's fantastic. It really is. It's funny how you can just take action. You see that something needs to happen and you just go forth, Don't think on it too hard. You just go with that feeling in your soul that it's the right thing to do and you get it done. So well done on that. What
It's about
key areas of development would you say need to be addressed with urgency in your local community, first of all, but also in Jamaica as a whole?
okay. So you're coming in and out. Yes, you're coming in and out choppy. So sometimes I'm not getting everything, but um, peace is definitely, as I said before, we have one of the highest per capita murder rates in the world. Peace and education are the two most important things because if you educate somebody, clearly they will be more constructive and productive in the society. Unfortunately, our government doesn't have that emphasis where you would have a music program in schools, in Trenchtown, where Bob Marley is from. Why doesn't the government support music in this community, for example? Why doesn't the government support programs where I take the children on field trips? I take them outside of the community because I realize the impact of remaining in the community, going to primary school in the community. They're not getting that exposure to the rest of Jamaica, to the beauty of Jamaica. I was blessed that I was able to go to primary school outside. So at an early age, I started to mingle with other people outside the community. And so I went to Jesse Paul Primary and we did a program right there at my school where we taught 40 students coding. And this was in collaboration with our university's ambassadors of engineering. And I have to big them up because they're Jamaicans and they're running the program at Howard University. And they wanted to bring the program to Jamaica. So we went to different schools asking them if they would welcome the program, engineering program where students would learn coding and they would learn engineering concepts. And so we did that program at my primary school because they had a computer lab set up and everything. And so I realized that I could not do the program in Trenchtown where I was working with the children because the school didn't have a computer lab. So out of that, I decided, okay, let's start a computer program for the children. And then we started fundraising and getting together laptops from last year, 2019. And, we've been just working. My daughter is studying software engineering at the university here. And so I really depend on her to really deal with the coding and get her friends from the university to come and help students with that. So we definitely need something to, address the education of the children and to bring programs into the community at an early and early age because the children are very, very excited to learn at this age. They welcome everything. When I bring the laptops, they take them and they start to do things on the laptop. And I'm like, you guys know so much already. And so you just want to give them a little bit of guidance, and believe in them. They can learn.
Well done. Well done. Well done. I was trying to get the video to show on there, but it's been logged out of the stream. But yes, you also did that coding course, and what we wanted to show you was like the lab that was set up and everything. But Allah's the best knower in some of these things. But it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome that which you've been able to do, and I can only encourage you to just continue on to greater things. Some of the comments that we're getting is just really beautiful. We have people that are very, very willing to help, so we will get to that segment where people will be able to know how it is that they can help the foundation. So I want to know about the actual pandemic, because obviously this is something that has disrupted the world, and many people are facing hardship due to it. And this whole show is just based around people who are able to make a difference in others' lives, despite the fact that they themselves may be going through things. They still have that desire to help others, the capacity doing so, are really doing a lot of wonderful work and transforming lives and helping those who are less fortunate. So during this pandemic, can you tell me about any of the works that you have done that have touched, like tangibly touched and made a difference to the lives of people or a person in particular?
Yes, sis. Well, wow, the pandemic, this year has been really such a life-changing year for so many people. And of course, it's really sudden. A lot of people have been affected really in a negative way that they were not expecting so much to come at them in just such a short space of time. 1 minute you heard about the pandemic, and the next thing you know, schools were closed down here in March, and everybody had to be wearing masks, and you're just feeling afraid. You don't know what to do. Should I stay inside? Should I go outside? And it's really about what the Bible speaks about, the new heaven and the new earth coming into being. And it was really an inspiration for me why I called my foundation A New Jamaica. Because, growing up, we are a Christian nation. Of course, Jamaica has the most churches. I'm breaking up. Okay, well, I just continue and hopefully, we'll get it. Jamaica has the most churches per square mile. And so you grow up in a Christian culture. And of course, the Bible, I read the Bible all the time, and I learned about this concept of a new earth and a new heaven that would come into being. And so this year is the year that everything that we have been reading, we have been studying, and in terms of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it has been really preparing us for this year and what is to come after this year. And so, if you were working on yourself, if you were working on purpose, this year would have been a year of expansion for you. This year would have been a year that you were looking forward to, that you were expecting. It wouldn't have taken you by such a surprise because we were being prepared mentally for this year. We were being prepared for something to happen, you know? And so those of us who were working on purpose really got a chance to really live through our purpose more and more this year. And so the schools were closed down here as it was, you know, everywhere else. And I could not go into the schools to work with the children as I would normally do. I couldn't take the children on a field trip. I took them on field trip for the 2 past Februarys. We were invited to take them to Maumee Bay, which was 2 hours away, and we had a great time, you know, on the bus singing, and then they would get to the villa, which was rented out by Americans and Jamaicans who came down for an African yoga retreat. And they, you know, the highlight of that for the children was just to swim in the pool and have fun, right? But they were exposed to African culture and dancing and African clothes and story time and that kind of thing. So, you know, they were just loving that. And they, every time I would go in the community, Miss, when are you taking us out to the pool? You know, they would go there every month, but they don't know that, you know, what takes place in getting people here to Jamaica and renting a villa and all of that. But I couldn't do anything. And I was here wondering, what am I going to do for 2020? I want to do something for a new Jamaica. And so Allah worked. A sister who I was a part of a group on Facebook. I didn't know the sister personally, but she's a Jamaican, and we have a group with mostly Jamaicans, and other people are in the group, and we would chat every day, and we would do what, you know, what can we do for Jamaica and our people, and that kind of thing was the motivation behind the group. And she reached out to me on Mother's Day, and she said, I can't pay my rent. And I said, wow. I said to her, well, how much is the rent? And she told me in Jamaican, and it was just about $200 US. And I said, well, what am I going to do? I don't have $200 sitting in my account. So, you know, this isn't something I was thinking about in terms of the foundation, because this is just something personal, just somebody I know on Facebook. But the Spirit said to me, ask. You know, make a post, because you post about all kinds of stuff all the time. Make a post to help the sister out. And I did. I just said, single mother of 3 needs to pay her rent, $200. Anybody wants to help? And within about 10 minutes, somebody helped. Somebody, you know, I don't know the brother. He lives in the United States. He's just my Facebook friend. So let me tell you, social media can be very, very powerful and life-changing, because
it is a powerful tool when used correctly.
That sister needed to pay her rent. She was running a bookstore, and she had to pay the rent for the bookstore as well. And, you know, she had 3 young children. To, you know, no father helping her significantly with the children. And so, yeah, you know, we all know the stories of people, you know, being put out because you can't pay the rent. You're in a pandemic. And so this has been a serious, serious year for a lot of people. And so I went the Monday morning, put the rent in the landlord's account for her because it was overdue. And she said, listen, just put it in the landlord's account for me, right? And I did it. And boy, I just felt happy to help her. I was like, wow, you know, I've never been in that situation really. I mean, up until recently, I mean, not recently, you know, years ago when I had my business and stuff like that, I know how it felt not being able to pay rent. But the next thing you know, the sister said to me, you know, could I help her getting some paper? Because she had a bookstore. So she said, I need paper to sell in the bookstore. And she just wanted help to continue to be able to just do her business, because business had slowed down so much for her. And somebody sent some money. I got her the money to buy the paper. And she said to me, boy, you know, she's so inspired by what I was doing for her. And she decided, hey, I'm going to build a house, you know, and she had some land in the country. A lot of our people here, they have land in the country, but a lot of people want to move in the towns. So the land in the country sitting there. And she decided, well, instead of me paying rent, why don't I just go take my family land, a piece of it, and build a house? And she started to build her house. And I traveled from Kingston, went to see what she was doing, and the sister was doing her thing. And I said, wow, I have to support her. You know, single mother like myself, I have to support her. And I just reached out to the believers in the Nation of Islam. And I just said, hey, this sister is building a house, listen, and they sent the help that she needed, and I bought her the doors and the window and the cement and whatever, and she did her thing. I mean, most of it, you know, she got help from a local charity here, and most of it was really her initiative, but we did what we could do to really help with what we could help with, of course. And so that was really what the biggest thing I did for 2020 was just, you know, just to make somebody's life a little bit better, because you know the pressure of being in the pandemic and all of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's just so godlike, you know, that God essence in you. You're definitely putting it to work to help others. May Allah God bless you, sister. I'm telling you, because these things, you're scoring some points with the God. I'm telling you, seriously, that's awesome. So listeners, we're just going to go for a quick break, and then we will be right back. Stay tuned.
It's great you're enjoying the show. Are you a COVID conqueror? Are you thriving personally or by serving your community during this pandemic? If this is you and you want to inspire others by sharing your story on the COVID Conquerors series, apply now. Send an email to aishapodcast@yahoo.com. Oh, and remember to share this podcast with those you know it will help. Now, back to the interview.
And we're back. Sister Clarion, it's so wonderful interviewing you today. It really is. Just hearing of the wonderful work that you're doing. And for those of you who may have just joined, this is my phenomenal guest this week, Sister Clarion Phillpotts, all the way from Jamaica. And she is the co-founder of a new Jamaica of Peace. And she's been doing some excellent work over there in her local community. This is what COVID Conquerors is about, you know. Yes, the world is upside down, but you know what? We are gods, and we can positively affect the lives of others, regardless to whom or what. So let's go back into the interview. So a new Jamaica of Peace is your foundation. It's been very successful. I've seen you in some newspaper articles over there in Jamaica as well. You know, I know you're very humble, but, you know, I must let people know that you are definitely being seen for the works that you're doing. So with that said, I want you to know, what is the future plans? Tell us, what's the future plans that you have for your foundation?
Thanks. Well, we definitely need our own space now, because we've just grown. We have the instruments, and we have the laptops and that kind of thing that the children have to use. And, you know, now that we're not able to use the school, of course, it's kind of an inspiration and a motivation, and we have to learn to take negatives and turn them into positives, right? And
yes.
So the main focus, I tell people, we also need to teach the children dressmaking and tailoring, because I wear my headpieces and they love the headpieces, and I had to give them one of the students my headpiece, because she just kept asking me, Miss, did you bring the headpiece for me? Did you bring the headpiece for me? And I had to give her my pink headpiece, because I think she loved it because it was pink.
Oh.
And when I gave her the headpiece, she said, I want the whole outfit. And I'm like, what?
Wow, she knows what she wants.
Yes. She's like, I said, it can't fit you. Your mommy's going to have to make that for you. But I said, okay, you know what? Since they're always looking at the way I dress and it's different, and I said, okay, we're going to get some sewing machines. This year, 2021 coming now, we're going to get some sewing machines and add tailoring and dressmaking and fashion designing to the program. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to have to get our own space because, you know, me and my daughter travel with 3 laptops into the community. And because we work after school, we stay with them until 6:37. And the lady come and she said, I'm going to lock up this classroom. No, you have to leave and run us out. But they stay with me because they're so excited to learn, you know. And then we just have to, I don't drive, so I end up taking the laptops on the bus. And, you know, I said, you know, I have to try and get a location so I can, you know, have the laptop stay in the location instead of traveling with them so much. So that's going to be 2 things that I'm going to add to the program for 2021. Definitely start the tailoring and dressmaking. Anybody have a sewing machine out there, want to send it, we're going to have to find a way, you know, because people will donate laptops. And my daughter brought down a laptop for me this year when she traveled. So we're going to have to find a way to bring the laptops not the laptops, the sewing machines for the children, because everything costs us at least twice. You know, whatever you pay, if you pay $100 for a sewing machine, it's going to cost us 2 times to buy it here. So we just have to find like creative ways. When somebody's traveling, I just ask them, can you bring a Kindle, you know, a laptop, something for the children, that kind of thing. That's what we have to do, you know. And if people want to help, they can, my PayPal is newjamaica7 at yahoo.com, and the Cash App $SHUMBABROWM. So it's $Shumba Brown. So, and, you know, people can always contact me on Facebook, Clarion Phillpotts, and if they want to help.
Awesome. I'm going to leave that up on the screen for a little bit so that people can take that down and make their donations accordingly, and contact you, of course, because, you know, one of the things when we put ourselves out there, make ourselves visible, is that opportunity comes. So we're going to leave that there for the opportunity to flow through to you. Wonderful. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of message would you give to somebody who is maybe in a position where they're feeling quite fearful, they're feeling quite lost, they don't really know what to do in this climate, they may have lost their job, they might have experienced relationship breakdown, they might be suffering from COVID, they, you know, are going through adversity right now, and they just need a few words of encouragement. What would you say to them?
What I have said to people all along, and it's what I practice, and I put it into practice, and it does work. If you want to smile, put a smile on somebody's face. It's as simple as that. It might seem too simplistic. You know, I was talking with a brother, a Jamaican brother. He's living on the street in New York, and I sent him $20, which is what I had at the time. And he said to me, I'm going to buy 2 coats and a blanket, because he had to sleep in his car. And I said to him, go to the shelter and help out. Life is a reflection. We are made in the image of God. We are God's image. And whatever we do, it is reflected to us. It's as simple as that. We are human beings. We're being human, but the truth is you're really a God. You're a God in a human body. So who you are being is important. Not who you think you are, not who you say you are, but who you are actually being from moment to moment, meaning how do you actually live from moment to moment? How do you respond when somebody asks you for help? Do you say, I can help? Let me help. Let me ask somebody for help if I can't help. You know, do you find a way to reach out and help others? Because that will be reflected back to you. If you live in a selfish way, only thinking about yourself, look, I don't have enough, I can't help, you know, if you live in that way, then you create a world that is so tiny for yourself. So learn to reach out. There are people all around you in need. You know, just walk out the street. If I walk down the street right now, I go down to the gas station. There are people who ask me for money all the time. You know, wherever I go, people always coming and asking you help. Find a way to help. Okay, if you can't help the person, if the problem is too big for you, think you know somebody. I'm telling you, God does this for a reason, to get you to expand how you see yourself, because we all see ourselves like, I can't help anybody. I remember one day I asked a sister who lived in the community, I said to her, could you come and read with the children, help me, because there's so many, I can't, you know, give them one-on-one attention that they need. And she looked at me and she said, you're giving me a job? I said, no, I'm just asking you to come and help. And she said, no, I can't help anybody. I need help myself. You know, and so many of our people have this attitude where they tell themselves, I can't help. Yet you sit all day, you're doing nothing. You're not working, you're doing nothing. You can't help. But because you see yourself as in need, you think you can't help. But it's not true. There is something that we all have to offer. There is something that we can all do to make the world a better place. And we have to build community. The work that I am doing, it cannot be done by the politicians, because what I do is very personal. I go in and I sit with children one-on-one, and I recognize that each one of them has a different need. There are children who are so sad. They're suffering from depression. Sometimes children can't go to school because of a shooting in the community. I have students, 2 girls, their brothers, both brothers were killed within 6 months apart. They literally chased down one of the brothers, and right in the house, they shot him. Imagine coming from school to see the blood of your brother all over the house. So they have different needs. When I was taking them on the field trip, the mother was looking at the wreath to bury the brother. You know, so she called the 2 daughters that she had, and she said, go on the field trip. So you're touching lives and you're saving lives, and you can make a difference. And we have to make a difference, because there are things that we can do on a personal level that the politicians and the big leaders, they can't do. I call them and I say, I'm doing this. I call the Ministry of Education. I say, I'm doing this. Can you help me? They say, no, we can't help you. I write to the Social Investment Fund. I said, I'm teaching music. Can you give me an instrument? They say, no, we can't give you, because they are operating at such a high level. They don't have time to say, hey, let me come and look. You know, they're dealing with millions upon millions of dollars in grants that they give out. And they don't come and look and say, let me see what is the need of 50 children, you know, that this sister is working with. What is it that each child needs? Because sometimes they need something. They need counseling. Counseling is something that if I got funding to do counseling, I would love to do counseling for these children, because that's something they really, really need. I see it in them. Sadness. And when you begin to talk to them, you know, children are dealing with things they shouldn't be dealing with as children. You know, somebody gets killed in the community and they go and they look at the dead body. And I say to the adults, you should not allow children to look at the bodies of when people get killed, because they think it's just, you know, something funny, something exciting. Oh, let's go.
And it can become normalized as well, you know, and that we can't have. And I'm sure it's very traumatic, depending on the age of the child and what they've seen as well, to witness things like that. And it's an important point that you raised. You know, all over the world we have a lot of children that are, you know, facing poverty, witnessing violence, being abused. That's why we have children who are suicidal nowadays. That's why we have, you know, children who are depressed. So the fact that you speak to them on a one-to-one basis and find out what's going on is really, really needed. And I think that for your foundation, it's got so much, you know, possibilities. There's so many areas in which it can expand to help the needs of our people. So, you know, be and it is, sister, you know,
Yeah,
for
me
all of the
too.
different services for a new foundation, a new, I'm gonna get the name wrong on the foundation.
A new Jamaica.
A new Jamaica of Peace Foundation, you know,
Mhm.
for it to flourish and just grow, because as you said, the government, we can't look to the government to do a lot of the things that needs doing. We have to be the ones, you know, to do it ourselves, you know, and that's what you're doing. You're showing great leadership in your community, and also proving that the teachings of the Most Honourable Elijah Muhammad, as taught through the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan today, are real, you know, right and exact when we put what we're learning to good use. And you're doing so in a practical way, you know, whereby your results can be measured. And I think that this is what's really important when it comes to doing the work. You know, if we're transforming lives, how is this really playing out in the lives of others? You know, it's not just an event, it's practical help. So you're a very good example for us, sister. And I'm really, really honored for the fact that you're on this show, being able to showcase your work, and by Allah's grace, you know, get people to support you in what you're doing. May Allah bless you to have a excellent and fantastic and well productive 2021, which is just around the corner. So how can our viewers, how can they and our listeners keep in contact with you on social media?
Well, I am on Facebook almost every day, so I don't know anything about Instagram too much. I am on Instagram at Sister Clarion. I'm on Instagram as the Foundation, A New Jamaica of Peace. But the best place to, you know, get me is Facebook. And the Foundation, A New Jamaica of Peace. You just type in A New Jamaica, it will come up. I have my personal page, Sister Clarion, as well. You know, Jamaicans might be listening. Jamaicans love WhatsApp. You can always WhatsApp me at 876-326-1041. You know, because Jamaicans overseas are a lot more conscious about helping people in charity and community service. And so Jamaicans, of course, they have also reached out and have helped me as well. So I appreciate the love and the help I get from the believers. The business community here have helped me, and, you know, Jamaicans overseas and Jamaicans here as well do give me what they can. So I appreciate everything. It's a really community work. You know, it's not my, you know, work alone. It's not possible because I really didn't have much, you know. So it's really everyone deciding that this is something that should be done. And so it's life-changing for me and everybody who has donated and helped and encouraged me over the years, because there have been moments when I'm saying, am I doing the right thing? Should I just go and get a 9 to 5? You know, this thing is kind of, you know, you have so many ideas sometimes you want to put through, and the funding is not there on a consistent basis. And, you know, sometimes I have had moments where I said, wow, you know, I don't know, but you know, I will be sticking to it because it's purposeful. And you realize 2020 is the year that you say, hey, let me do something other than party, because you realize a lot of what we've been doing in the world is not necessary. Do we really need to be watching celebrities twerking and bragging about how much diamonds they're wearing? You know, hey, stop and think. This is a part of what God is doing. Hey, look at how we are living on earth, and stop and think and say, we are a community. And so if we have children in Africa who can't go to school because they're so poor, the boys have to go out and mine, you know, in the mines and the cadmium that we use in our cell phones. And then we are over here bragging, I have the latest cell phone, I have 5 cell phones, you know, that kind of thing. And we have to stop and say, hey, how are we living? Is it pleasing to God, the way we have been living? And do we have a sense of community and duty towards each other, where, you know, I'm not just going to take my money to brag about how much money I have, but I'm going to use it to lift up somebody else? Because Bob Marley said, the biggest man you ever will see was once a baby. meaning everybody was at a stage where they needed to depend on somebody else.
Mm. Very true. Very true. And once a man, twice a child comes to mind, you know. It's just something that my granny used to say a lot, and it's true. We just have to be selfless, you know, and give to others, because it just comes right back round, you know. And life has definitely shown me that that's the case. So I think we're probably coming to the end now, although it's been so wonderful speaking and sharing time and space and hearing about all of the good work that you've been doing. It's been a pleasure having you on COVID Conquerors, and I'm sure the listeners and the viewers feel the same. I see your fans. You have fans, Sister Clarion. You have fans. You know, lots of support from the community, and it's just awesome. You're such a beautiful sister, and I'm just you know, just happy to spend this time with you here today. So I just wish you all the best. You know, may Allah God bless you and continue on with everything that you're doing. So once again, viewers, although this has come to an end now, the season, next year, inshallah, God willing, we'll come back with season 2. I have some wonderful guests lined up, but at the same time, if you've watched, if you were doing some great work or thriving in your life by helping your community or just personally yourself, you're achieving things, you've come from a dark place into light, please contact me at Aisha M, as in M for mother, podcast at yahoo.com. and share this broadcast, because it can help people, quite frankly, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to create the podcast, is to help people. So I wish you a happy holidays, seeing as we're at that time. If you can spend time with your family and friends, we're in lockdown over here. Some people may be in a bubble and able to do that, others not, but just take this time as time to just really go into yourself and just be kind and loving towards yourself. Call people, see how they're doing, and just be grateful for life. So with that said, we bid you good night. Thank you for joining us. Peace.
Okay.
I must have set up at least 15 plus food banks.
We need good examples of marriage.
Oh, wow. I am resilient, I am strong, and I am capable.
Sit down and wait for this thing to pass over. We're going to operate. You know what they say, learn to dance in the storm.